Hello everybody and welcome to Flock Talk. Today we are going to be going over how you can teach your bird to have more confidence, as well as why you would even need to teach them confidence in the first place. Confidence building is one of the first areas you work on whenever you are working with, say, a dog or a variety of animals within a zoo setting. But for whatever reason, when it comes to the world of parrot training, confidence building seems to get largely skipped over. And quite honestly, this is a pretty big mistake because a bird without confidence is not going to be able to perform 90% of the things that we need them to do. A bird that lacks confidence is a bird who might be more prone to attention screaming, a bird who might struggle to play independently. A bird without confidence is not going to be one that wants to explore a world on their own terms and is going to be very reliant on you for that comfort. By taking the time to teach your bird how to have confidence in themselves, they'll be able to explore the world independently, play with their toys on their own without desperately needing your attention. They'll be easier to train as they are confident in being able to make decisions. They'll be able to think more clearly and decide and try random new things while trying to figure out what you want from them in a training setting. A bird that lacks confidence might struggle to make choices and might just sit there during a training session confused and afraid to make a choice. So by taking the time to build our bird's confidence, we can actually show them how to live in a world a little bit more independently, allowing them to live with a lot less stress and be much faster learners. There are a ton of different ways that you can work on building confidence with your bird, and one of the easiest ways I like to work on this is with their own mobility. A bird that is confidently able to explore their environment with their own 2 feet is a bird that is going to be much more sure of themselves and how they explore the world around them. If a bird is not confident in their capacity to climb and explore a variety of different surfaces, they're going to be pretty nervous and unwilling to move about of their own free will. One of the easiest ways to work on this is just to provide your bird with a variety of different perching opportunities. Whether that be inside the cage or around your home, you can provide them with perches of varying diameters. And I'm not just saying very minor differences between the thicknesses of their perches. I'm talking things like Toto is standing on right now, where it is so skinny that it is bouncing and wobbling under his weight, or branches like the ones behind me that are so thick that their feet almost slip off of it when they're walking around. By providing these minor challenges through their movement, you're creating a bird that is able to problem solve independently and learn how to explore those environments and have confidence, as well as the foot dexterity and the muscle required for that balance to be able to explore that world confidently. For birds that are a little bit more nervous and unwilling to try, you can start out with just the same diameter perches they already have and just put them on an incline, so they're at a bit of an angle. This way the bird has to start learning how to balance on different areas of their feet, as well as exploring how to balance with their body climbing up those different inclines and declines. You can utilize things like treats or targeting to get your bird to explore these environments. You can also use foragers or their food dishes to be able to get them moving around and be more interested in exploring these more challenging areas. On top of the perch thickness and the angles of the perches, you can also introduce unstable areas. So this might be things like your swings that will rock around depending on how the bird lands on them, your ladders which sway when they step on them, or even large toys that swing and wobble and move around while the bird walks on them. This is going to throw the bird off balance a little bit, get them using those core muscles, get them exploring a bit and thinking about how to balance themselves as they explore this unstable and more challenging environment. The second way that you can boost confidence is through flight. Flight is a parrot's primary mode of defense. If they feel unsafe, they want to fly out of a situation to get themselves safe. If a bird is newer to flying, has had their wings clipped for a long time, or just doesn't get to practice flying a lot of the time, they usually end up lacking confidence and they aren't either strong enough to fly away or don't feel confident enough in their flying abilities to be able to explore freely, and that can result in a very nervous bird. There are very easy ways to begin getting your bird learning how to fly a little bit stronger, starting with your basic recall training where you can have them just hopping very short distances, just a couple of inches, and then back where they were. Or you can even begin to make things more challenging by increasing those distances, which helps them build stamina, makes their hearts healthier, those muscles stronger, and you can make it more complex by then asking them to recall from higher heights or way down low. And that's going to exercise a different group of muscles. It's going to help them learn that they are in fact capable of flying those different distances or you'll be a little bit more nervous like Mr. Toto here, where he isn't quite as confident flying straight up because he hasn't been able to practice those skills quite as long as a bird like Newt has. So by encouraging them to fly more vertically and encouraging them to jump up and fly up, you're going to exercise those muscles. You're going to get them realizing that they are in fact capable of doing that, and eventually they will get better at doing it and they will be less hesitant over time, where you can then ask them and they will very quickly, Noodle, here, without much hesitation, just fly straight up. You can also increase the difficulty of this by encouraging them to land on moving objects. So when you recall them, they not only fly straight, but your hand then begins to move away a little bit. And this teaches them how to gauge the distance of the object in front of them, adjust their speed and their angles for flying, and learn how to properly grab, balance, and land on those moving surfaces, which can be more challenging. This gives them a lot more confidence in their ability to fly and encourages them to explore things that they might not have thought they were capable of landing on before. The last really good way to build confidence that I'm going to go over today is exposure. So the amount of different things that you can expose your bird to in their world can help them be more confident when engaging with new things. Exposure is very simply presenting your bird with an object that they haven't seen before. This can be something that makes a different sound, is a different texture, is a different color, or is just altogether a brand new object to them. This helps them be able to observe their world, build positive associations with those things through your training and desensitization protocols. And over time, what will happen is as you build your repertoire of random objects you've introduced your bird to, the more confident they're going to be going forwards every time you do need to present them with a new thing, or they stumble upon a new thing themselves. This creates a bird who, when faced in a situation that they have never been in before, is going to be much more willing to think positively about that situation, be able to be calm, knowing that there is more likely to be a positive outcome than a bad one, and be able to think very logically on what decisions to make next. If you've got a bird who's suddenly escaped and flown out the door, this is a situation they've never been in before, but if you've exposed them to so many different things, they might look at this and go, oh, this is new. Every other new thing I've ever met in my life has been positive. This isn't a big deal. And it makes it a lot easier for them to remain calm, stay focused, and recall back to you when needed. Exposure can be as simple as bringing a new object into a room and just leaving it there, letting your bird see it for the first time, explore it on their own terms, or decide not to explore it at all. But exposure can also be more complex, where you say, introduce them to something that makes a sound they've never seen before, and now they have to listen to that sound, listen to it as it gets gradually louder, choose to approach it, or you've got something that perhaps makes noise when they interact with it, say tinfoil, something that makes crackling noises they're not familiar with. You could have your bird walk along those surfaces, walk along some bubble wrap or crinkly paper, and be able to explore the fact that the ground moves beneath their feet, it makes strange sounds, and it shifts in front of them in ways that they can see. These are all variable forms of exposure that can help a bird be able to see and adapt and overcome various challenges. Birds by default tend to be very scared creatures. They're a prey animal, and being afraid is what keeps them alive. If they jump at every little thing that moves and they take off, there's a much higher chance that they're going to make it up in a tree and away from a predator. So it's very normal for most birds to be pretty skittish and pretty nervous. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing we can do in order to boost that confidence and help them be more relaxed and live in a world with much less stress. Confidence boosting activities are well worth it in the long run and can be as quick as a 2-second object you pop in the room once a week. It doesn't have to be challenging, it doesn't have to take up a lot of your time, and it definitely makes a difference. But that will do it for me here today, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye! Yeah, good boy. Gooby goo, gooby goo, gooby gooby, gooby gooby. Achoo!